Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. So I owe people an apology out there. I gotta say sorry because, excuse me, I have to say sorry for having such high expectations. I thought people out there cared enough about their kids that they'd do anything to fight for them. So I assume, arrogantly assume that people love their kids so much that they're willing to go through pain and suffering to get them back in their lives and make their lives revolve around their kids and put off vacations and put off getting a new girlfriend or getting other people pregnant while their custody battle's going on. I assumed that kids were just more of a priority, so I'm sorry for that unrealistic high expectation. It's just that, when I went through my custody battle, as soon as my daughter was born, I fell in love with her like most dads do any girl, or, I assume the same is with a boy. My whole world was revolving around my daughter, and then it was ripped from me, and I was traumatized by the pain and suffering that came with having your own child ripped out from under you as if you're a monster, and then get accused of being a monster, and all you want to do is be a good father. And even though I was a soft, nice, gentle, nice guy, I could debate with anybody. I could call somebody out if I had to, but I was generally a beta male. Grew up with 3 sisters and a mom. My dad was there, but not really there. Despite all that, I gave the mother one chance to be civil and prove that she's willing to be civil. When she got an attorney, I gave him one chance to earn my trust, and then it was war. I assumed that when people get betrayed, they don't give chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance and negotiate with a mother for 2 years while they're getting punked and only seeing their kid for 2 hours supervised visitation. I assumed that sometime before that 2 years, 3 years is up, that they would actually grow a pair and want to fight. So my expectations are unrealistic. I'm sorry that, I'm not catering to everybody's hurt feelings and the challenges in life that come with your decision to have a one-night stand or to be so desperate for love that you'll date down and marry somebody because you can't find anybody else, or you'd rather just, she's got 5 different mental disorders, she has 3 different babies' dads, and 4 kids, but I'm gonna rescue all of them. Making a decision like that resulted, you saw the red flags, but you're trying to be a knight in shining armor to someone who is a hopeless cause, and that didn't work out. I'm sorry that I expect you to be accountable and say, you know what, I had kids with a crazy woman, I'm going to have to fight for my kids. I'm sorry that I had this expectation that your kids are more important than a lost dating relationship. Some guys, they want to wait it out and see if they can reconcile, and while they're not seeing their kids for 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 months, a year, 2 years, they're still waiting on reconciling. A Judas just totally betrayed you and stole everything from you, and I can understand it, because when it comes to your toolbox, your dog, somebody stole that from you, your car, breaking into your home, you would wait a few months or a year or 2 years before you call the cops. You would be patient and wait for them to give you your money back they stole, or you would be patient to somebody to bring your dog back in a couple years. You wouldn't even go looking for your dog. You just trust that humankind is wonderful and there's no bad people in the world, and they'll just give you your stuff back. I'm sorry that, I had when I got blindsided with the custody battle, I went looking for help immediately because I had a sense of urgency, like something's going on here and I need to fix it and I need to figure it out. I had a sense of urgency where I was looking. I didn't have the internet back then. I had a phone book. I'm calling attorneys, and attorneys said, no, you can only be an every other weekend dad. And I'm sorry I expect other guys to say F you to the attorneys who tell you you can only be every other weekend dad, because that's what I said. I didn't exactly say that. I basically hung up on their face and said, I'm not settling for anything less than 50-50. I'm sorry that I expected you to have the same wherewithal and the same value and the same self-worth where you deserve equality. I'm sorry I had that high expectation of you. I keep putting out these videos to tell you to expect better of yourself and to act like you care for your kids. And since you want what's best for your kids and having a dad is best for your kids, that you'll fight to make sure a dad is in their life. I'm sorry I expected you to care enough about your kids to want to fight. You don't care what anybody thinks about you, but I should have known. I should be catering to people saying, we got to worry about what everybody thinks about me. I can't fight for my kids because it might hurt somebody's feelings or there might be collateral damage. I didn't give a rip what anybody thought about my life. I was willing to lose every friend and everybody in the world, as long as I got my daughter, because she's the most important human being in the world to me. I'm sorry I expected that you would think the same thing about your own child. I guess that's an unrealistic expectation of mine. So I'm also sorry about this sense of urgency. Like somebody texts me or calls me and they got a hearing coming up, and then they say, I need to talk to you. I got a hearing. I'm scared. And then I say, when do you want to talk? And I don't hear from them for 3 days. And then they get royally screwed at their hearing, and they're traumatized from their hearing. And they didn't want to get ready for the hearing because they were too lazy to follow through with their own message to me. And then they're like, and then they wait another 10 days and it's past the deadline to do reconsideration. They're like, I need your help. And like, why didn't you call me like you said you wanted to? I just got busy. Okay. I'm sorry that I expect you, right, have this unrealistic expectation that your child is the most important thing, and other distractions shouldn't distract you from the day that you have in court to decide your fate with your kid. I thought people cared about that, so I'm sorry for that unrealistic expectation. I'm sorry that I'm so harsh because I can't believe somebody would put anything else above their kids, because I'm sorry I believe what everybody says. Everybody's out here saying, I'd die for my kids, I'd do anything for my kids, this and that. And then when you're confronted with family court, you're like, well, I can't do that, and I can't do this, and I can't do that, and I got too much going on. I got bowling with the fellas on Wednesday night, and then we go to the tavern for Sunday football. I just don't have any time. I also have a job, I got to work. And, I had 2 jobs when I was going through my custody battle. I worked at night, so that would be my main job, so I can quit the day job when necessary, and I went to work, and then I ate, and then I was figuring out how to fight for my kid. And I'm sorry that I expect like all the knowledge that I had, I got it all on my own, and I have this unrealistic expectation that I serve it up for you guys, most of it for free and at the touch of a button. It's unrealistic for me to expect you to click a mouse like 1, 2, or 3 times to get this information that I went through blood, sweat, and tears and days, weeks, or months to get. I'm sorry that I expect you guys to be willing to, especially people who are savvy with the internet. I had to go to the courthouse. I had to go to the law library to legal research. I had to go to the courthouse and deliver papers. I had to go to Kinko's, spend $100 every time I filed something, could make copies. I'm sorry that I have this unrealistic expectation that it's easier for you guys, that you can type up a document, scan it, and e-file it, and do your whole case from your bedroom. I'm sorry that I say that that's easier than spending hours going to the law library and going to Kinko's and going to the courthouse, like I said, and paying for parking and stuff. I'm sorry that I say that doing all that stuff is harder than just clicking a mouse a few times. Most of you grew up not having to run down to the courthouse and do labor and stuff, and it's hard for you to click a mouse. So I should be adjusting, my measuring stick for that. I'm sorry that, I was so quick to try and focus all my energy and time on fighting for my kid again, because I had this sense of urgency that I didn't have a lot of time, and I had to go fight for my kid now. That when you take 2, 3, 4 a day or 2 or weeks to get a hold of me to get going on your case, I'm sorry that I've had not that much patience for you to just go back and forth with me for weeks at a time and wasting my time. I should let you do that. Sorry.